Seuraavaksi Andy Willopin ja Bob Beakrin kirjoittama Kalevalan Sampo-myytin uuteen tulkintaan perustuva runoelma, jossa liikutaan sekä nykymaailmassa että sammon jäljillä. Ja muusikot tässä seikkailussa mukana ovat Anthony Flint, Masi Hukari, Kel Howard. Esitys kestää noin puoli tuntia. Andy Willoughby, Bob Beakry, welcome here on the Poetry Week on the stage. Yeah, let's start.
These poems are from a collection called Sampo Heading Further North, and they're playing off Kalevala.
They come from 10 years of Bob and I coming back and forward to Finland. We read the Kalevala, first 10 books especially, and we found a lot of interesting connections between that and where we come from, because we come from a steel town where iron was discovered in the hills, and the Kalevala tells the origins of iron.
This is called Walking in Circles.
Just can we grab that door close, please? We want to take you on a shamanic journey, so gossip and chat are very good for us to get into the trip.
Cool. Okay. 2, 3, 4. The
iron in the blood points north. The iron in the rocks stains them red. The blood in the hills draws iron. The iron from the hills draws blood.
The north in the blood seeks iron.
The north knows the origins of iron.
Glad to escape the glare of closed-circuit cameras, we climb through woods towards the Iron Age fort, through oaks with rusted leaves, concrete megaliths lost in fern, sharp points of fresh, flowerless, scentless gorse. Sentinel swords, each side of the ventilation shaft. Beer cans and crisp wrappers. A broken spade and mud-stained rags.
The iron in the hills points north. The heather hides the village of Pit Top. The winch pin and the tin can lamp. The reap roots on the hill was a blood red. The iron cools and sets in the pigs. The north knows the origins of iron. A fella used to live in there, coming and going like an apple of the forest. Dissenting hair, crazy beard, cotted with drays. They used to call him Nipper. Harvester of mushrooms, berries and roots, eggs from the nest, rabbits from a snare. The nuns used to feed him jam and bread. Others claimed he lived on a diet of prayer. From a bed of fern he'd watch the flicker of the burn-off flares over the encroaching town.
The iron in the hills points north. The hills in the north point to iron. The slow river flows like molten iron. The iron flowed as thick as blood. When the clouds rain black soot
such.
The North knows the origins of iron. 20 paces in, the shaft is walled up. It holds inside the hollow hill the sour breath of the united dead. But some little twats have knocked a ragged hole in the brickwork to let in a shaft of milky autumn light, or release some consecrated souls to roam the dew-heavy Yorkshire mist, the sudden Jurassic bracken sprouting from black swathes of twaka-set summer fires.
The iron in the blood points north. The iron in the hills drew blood. The blood in the iron sings north. The north in the iron points to blood. The pigs cool in dull steel shades.
The north knows the origins
of iron. In there lies Zulu, Kabul, Khartoum, all those worldly lands of ransacked Blue Billy, stratas of time and empire, precious remains and hollow men sitting eating bait in the sweating pitch of fossilized eyeless fish. Those empty men with hardened shells we stuff with the straw of history to fill a lack of experience we cannot buy gift wrap for Christmas, nor can we walk through the vaulted chambers of their inverted empire.
The iron in the blood points north. The shards of shattered hearts point north. The beard of the Viking chief points north. The brows of Whitby whalers point north. The reckoning begins in the north.
And the north knows the origins of iron.
From the hill fort circle above the town to the worked out whale belly below, unpick the dream of a muddy fish in the Baltic with healing magic in her tones. Head further north to suture the wound from a steel-edged lie, where tongues froze to railings in winter, where you found a band of ragged poets and circled the perimeter of this fort's twin at Voipala, heard rumours of a weeping wizard who sought the secret origins of iron. You made a pact with your blood brothers to walk the quivering compass needle, find the ferric song once beaten on the sandhole, to salve this fractured land. These ransacked hills.
The iron in the blood points north.
The north knows the origins of iron. This is called Do the Float. It's about, Vainamoinen floats for a long time before he hits land, and 30 years or something. And we like this idea of floating.
I think all poets need to float. And sometimes you float when you're away from work and you've been drinking for a few days. This is the title owes a little bit to Roxy Music. So it's the only poem ever written inspired by Vainamoinen and Roxy Music. It's called Do the Float. In the city you can do it with the traffic all around you.
Whores and beggars' voices inviting you to business.
After 3 days drinking in dark and sea-green caverns.
After hours of wandering when all forms lose distinction.
And strange faces are familiar when your dreaming is unleashed.
From its daytime moorings and street noises are all merging
Into a rhythmic babble. Into a rhythmic babble. Underpinned by drumming.
that resounds through space.
Constantly vibrating. Do the float, love. Let nothing touch you or bring you to the pain and sense of self.
Not the call of seagulls on the rainy south bank,
Or the sudden lights glint on St. Paul's Cathedral.
or the great white palace, or in the smell of frying onions,
From the stalls of backstreet vendors, or the comic quacking,
of the Thames mallard and muffled alarum,
or the sharp words in the tavern that bring grief and disillusion.
or the sudden burst of violence that shocks you back to
Who you
knowing.
looking at? Or the sudden notice neck nib on the escalator.
That is
Heartbreakingly familiar.
Do the float, love, through back streets with historic names that now lead nowhere.
With wonky signs of shops that really sell you nothing.
With tiny children chanting obscenities and nonsense.
In the city with its shifting name of London, Helsinki,
Moscow, Kyoto,
Amsterdam and Turku.
past old letters and young lovers,
Past invisible wheels of commerce,
past mind into non-mind,
where loss becomes subsumed,
into dream time longing.
where the seasons are all one and the dead begin their singing.
From the buried layers of city under city,
Bone and dust arias with harmony from the unborn.
and the beat breaks through familiar,
And you are once again floating,
painless,
thoughtless, in the timeless sea of Mother. And now we need to borrow Miss Katarina Rorainen, to borrow her voice for a little bit of singing. This next poem it's a spell, it's called The Charm to Still the Flow, and it came from thinking about Vaino trying to heal his wound when he cuts his knee. And so we started thinking, well, in the modern world, we all feel like we're bleeding all the time. Because why are we bleeding? We're pierced by tons and tons of news, information, modern times. So this is a charm to still the flow for us. And we throw everything in to try to stop.
What spell would you use to stop it all? What's the stillest thing in the world?
What is the stillest thing in the world?
Charm to still the flow.
Everything flows and nothing abides. Everything gives way and nothing stays fixed.
Tell me the spell to stop the flowing, with all things still, with all things still. Tell me the spell to stop the flowing, with all things still, with all things still.
How to hold back the trickle, the drip, drip, drip of the glacier that begins the flood, the rise of tides that turn the float into a surfer's hell ride, with flotsam and jetsam transformed into 1,000 hurtling fragments.
Hold fast as a concrete breakwater against the river's springtime swell. Or the glass figurine of a flamenco dancer led